What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how you can personalize emails at scale using make.com, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Sheets, and not Clay. So this email personalization at scale is typically done at Clay. Clay is like $300 a month, so we don't want to pay that fee. We can actually build this system that you see right here that can basically do research about the company that you're reaching out to, the employees at that company, and basically personalize those emails based on that research. So I will show you exactly how I did that. I started by gathering a list of qualified contacts. These are all senior living employees, C-level, VP level, and I basically took all those companies right here and pulled them into a different spreadsheet so that we're only searching the company once. And basically what I did is I searched their LinkedIn, their website, and allowed Perplexity basically to search on the web and other places to gather basically how many locations they operate and where these locations are located um, in the United States. So essentially what it does is it searches each row one by one. Once I turn it on for good, it'll search the rows every minute. So 1 minute, one row will be searched every minute. And Perplexity will go in and basically spit out its findings. I'll show you how I crafted the prompts. I went with sonar reasoning, a mid-level model. I said you are a focused researcher that investigates a company's number of properties, locations, communities, and their geographical locations, and kind of defined a little bit more about what I was looking for. You can go ahead and pause if you're really interested. And then I basically put together a method for how I want Perplexity to do this. So search the company sites, um, and then search the rest of the internet. And then I went with a user prompt here, or user role, and put in the dynamic inputs. Um, and for this specific company here, we got age mark. This is what the output looks like. It's huge, a very long string, but basically it found out that it has 28 properties located out west, and then more information about where these locations are. Um, I would personalize the email to talk about the exact number of locations, but I've come to find out that Perplexity is not great at pulling this exact information out from the internet. Properties are always being bought and sold, so it's best to be not as specific with the information that you're pulling from these AIs if you're using them in emails. And basically, I have this ChatGPT take the research and decide whether it's a single location, two locations, or a multi-location company. So two or more for that multi-location, and basically spitting out exactly one of those three inputs. So then I can go and personalize those emails depending on how many properties they own. Because if they own one property versus 28, I want to be able to personalize those and put them into different campaigns. It outputs one of those three, and then I have filters set up. So if the output here is multi-location, then it goes in the multi-location route. Single location route, and then the two locations, the two location route there. And at the end, I'll basically tell Google Sheets which route it went down so that I can then segment these companies and the individuals at these companies into different campaign sequences. So as you can see, single, multi-single, here's the content that the uh, ChatGPT comes up with, which I'm going to describe to you right now. So once it goes down these routes, I have ChatGPT go ahead and create these segments of text, which I'm going to directly insert with a dynamic insertion later on down the road within SmartLead. So you create a text that will be inserted into an email. The segment of text you output will be directly inserted into the body of the email, so it must be strictly follow the guidelines and be the string of text only. That was a system prompt, and then a user prompt. You're given summary, blah 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 blah, possible outcomes. So across the U.S., if the company operates in many states, so it's going to output across the U.S. exactly how that is. If it's located in 3 or more states and it's not concentrated in a single region. Another option with a strong presence in state, if the company operates entirely or primarily in a single state. Across the region of the U.S., if the company operates mostly within a single U.S. region, with heavy presence in state 1 and state 2, if it's just 2 states, and then some other rules. And I basically gave it the research summary that the Perplexity did to be able to decide which one to use and to actually fill in what state 1 is and state 2 is. So this isn't too hyper personalized, but it does make the email seem like it wasn't too spammy. It makes it look like we did our research a little bit and we at least know who they are. That's not something you typically see in a lot of cold emails that these business professionals are receiving. So even that little bit of research that it looks like we did does increase the chances that they're going to answer our emails. And then once the segment of the email is created, I go ahead and I update the row with it being searched. So I search a row if the sent column here is empty. So I put sent, I put whether it's single or multi or 2 locations, single, 2, or multi, and then the actual content. And so what I want this email to actually look like is, let's say it's a multi-location. Hey, saw you had a bunch of locations. Then I insert this across the West. And then I'll go transition to how having multiple locations can be a problem with their waste and recycling, because that's what I'm trying to sell here. And then I transition from that problem to then how we solve that problem. And then all this is going to pop up right at the beginning. So if it's a single location, hey, saw you operate a facility in Dowling Park. And then frame problem, and then transition to how we're going to solve that. Hey, saw you had 2 locations in Baltimore. Okay, just this little simple segment of personalized information about where they're geographically located is going to increase chances that they're going to respond to our emails. So let's let it run. I'll show you what it looks like in real time. It's searched row 5, we're looking at age well, Solvier living. So it's searching their LinkedIn, their website. Their Perplexity takes the longest here. Usually takes 10 to 20 seconds depending on the available information. It's a long one. There we go. The ChatGPTs are really quick with that. Let's first look at the research here. It basically, Perplexity will go in and kind of describe how it does its research, and it's a lot of nonsense data that you have. It's saying that it's going to be a multi-property location. Okay, so we got multi-location. That's correct. It's only outputting this exact string. If it was something else, then it wouldn't be able to go down these exact filters because the result of that is exactly multi-location. It needs to be, or exactly single location. And then we have the string with the strong presence in Florida. I just want to double check to make sure that that's correct. As you can see, the row was updated. AWS Living. Age well. Strong presence in Florida. Yep. So yeah, they're heavily concentrated in Florida. That's what we want to see. ChatGPT was right in choosing that as a selection. It also could have chosen across the US. That would have been fine too. But just having that little segment will improve our reply rates and our meetings booked and our deals. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned a lot in today's video, and I'll see you next time.